Hi everyone, my name's Steve Markham and I'm a company director and quality engineer in the automotive industry. And because that's the car industry, that's perhaps the reason why I've chosen to sit in my car today and talk to you. So I became an engineer really perhaps because my dad was an engineer. Now he was a press tool maker, and what that meant was he'd make the equipment that would take a completely flat sheet of metal and form it into shapes that we'd recognise, such as a wheelbarrow, a kitchen sink, or a car door. And I thought this was fascinating. Now, my granddad was also an engineer. He made gun barrels, so particularly rifle barrels, and that was quite a skilled job as well. So having two engineers in the family perhaps meant engineering ran in my blood, and that's why I became an engineer. Even though I really didn't know what engineers did, when I was young, I certainly do now. So the subjects I really enjoyed back at school were maths. Now that sounds odd, doesn't it? But I really enjoyed numbers. Physics, because that was really about how things worked. And engineering, which you probably call design and technology today. And those are subjects I really enjoyed. And I did okay at school with my exams, well enough to land an apprenticeship at a local factory. Now this factory employed about 2,000 people, of which there were always around 100 apprentices on the grounds at any one time. So I was in good company, and my apprenticeship lasted for 5 years. First year was spent at college, full time, learning about engineering, and we were using machines and learning how to use them safely and correctly, and I was having to do some exams. And the next 4 years were spent within the factory learning from all the other people there about the skills and the techniques and learning from their knowledge, because these were people who wanted to show and train apprentices with what the skills and the knowledge that they had. Now I also had to go to college 1 day a week and do more exams and more study, and also go to college at night. So doing maths between 7 and 9 at night, it's quite difficult, but this is what we have to do as engineers. We have to learn. So my apprenticeship finished when I was 21 and I got my first engineering job. Now I've worked at lots of different companies since then. I've learnt about different processes, different materials and different techniques. I've worked with materials such as steel and plastics, electronics, fabrics, lots and lots of different skills and processes and lots of knowledge that I've acquired over the years. So today, I'm in the car industry where we're developing new cars, new products, and we're seeing them every day. Almost every week there's a new vehicle being launched. But the industry has a problem. Let me tell you about that. The problem we have in the industry is all about power. Vehicles at the moment are mainly powered by either petrol or diesel engines. However, it's been recognised around the world that the emissions from our vehicles are harming our planet, and they're also bad for our health. So governments have decided that by 2030 there will be no more manufacture or sale of petrol or diesel. So this gives me something to think about. So I've noticed at the moment there are alternative powers such as battery power and hydrogen power, which are used as alternative fuels to petrol or diesel. But this also gives us another problem. I'm wondering where all the electricity is coming from that has to power our vehicles. Now, this has to be generated from power stations that generate the electricity just that we use in our homes and our factories. But we're going to use extra electricity to recharge our vehicles. And think about the power that we use to charge our mobile phones. That's relatively small compared to the power we need to recharge an electric vehicle. And we also have another problem. Are there enough power points around the UK or around the world to actually charge our vehicles up? Range is a problem. In other words, how far can that vehicle travel on its electric power before it needs recharging? Now, at the moment, that's somewhere between 100 and maybe 250 miles before we need to recharge it. Petrol vehicles and diesel vehicles can often travel far, far more than that, greater distances, before they need filling up. We also need people who have the skills and have learned the technology to develop new electric vehicles, to develop new batteries, more powerful, lighter batteries that can take our vehicles further. We also need people with the skills to be able to build them, diagnose problems, solve the problems, service and repair these vehicles. Because it's going to be new and we only have 10 years to do this. So there's something there for you to think about. What skills will you need? What qualities will you need? What will you need to learn and develop yourself into becoming one of these people who will be able to look after your own vehicle? Because it's certain that by the time you leave school, the choices that you will have in the cars that you will buy will really be narrowed down to being electric vehicles. So have fun thinking about that. And I wish you every success. Bye now.